There we go.
It was a short wait. Medium wait, exactly. A happy medium. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful edition of Retro Reload with your East Coast friends. Once again, we have some super fun stuff to talk about, and I'm anxious to get... And once again, Mr. Nikon has made me lose my concentration because of his hilarious antics. But yes, we have got some fun stuff to talk about tonight, and yeah, should be a good time. As you all know, I'm Cashel, and I am coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee, and coming to us from Chicago. He is hidden right now, but he is everyone's favorite camera craftsman. It's Mr. Nikon.
What's up? How you doing?
and from New Jersey, with each passing second, it's RedBlaze57, also known as Zach.
I got nothing to say today, so...
Yeah, nothing to say today. Man, a few words. And last but not least, he's on audio only right now, usually on the West Coast. He is joining the East Coast crew today. I'm sure he's wearing a very stylish fedora right now. It's Dash V, also known as Chris.
Hello.
And sometimes they call him Dashy Poo.
Than a fedora, but...
Oh, it's a jaunty cap, whatever you're wearing. So, welcome everyone.
That's very fashionable.
This will be This will be fun. We got some fun stuff to talk about. To get started, shall we talk about what we've been playing lately?
Sure.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go first this time. I got some fun news. I finished Lufia 2 for the Super Nintendo. It was awesome. I had such a good time with it. Like I said last week, I can't believe I waited so long to actually sit down and play it. So thanks again to the people who got it for me, and expect a review on that sometime soon. Yeah, nothing but good things to say about it. So, oh, and also, I forgot, I also finished Mine Zero as well for the Vita. I got the Platinum Trophy on that, so yeah, F you game. You thought you could beat me, but you cannot. I got the Platinum, so there. So,
all right, everybody, let's all give him a clap.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Mr. Nikon, where's the enthusiasm? So lately, I've been playing this. Criminal Girls, invite only for the Vita. And if anyone knows about this game, it is very... Well, it got rated M for mature, and for very good reason. There is some really off-the-wall, borderline perverted stuff. That said, it's a really fun RPG. It's different. It's definitely not for the casual RPG player. You had to have a certain, I don't know, itch you want scratched to enjoy it. And yeah, so far, so good. I'm really enjoying it. But as of now, that's all I've been playing lately. Who wants to go next?
It's not a one-button game, is it?
No, you gotta do more than button mash.
Ah, okay.
Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, is it like a hentai type game or like
no.
perverted?
No. No, it's rated M, not AO. No.
Oh, so only softcore stuff.
Yeah, even that's like a stretch, because the developer, like, it was originally in Japan, obviously. Then Nipponichi America, they published it, but they added all this bull-yit censorship stuff to it. So it goes from, in my opinion, being an M to more like a T plus. But either way, yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's far from innocent. Don't get me wrong, but
it's not a next and finish game.
No, it's definitely not like Rez for the PS2. If you get what I'm saying. So. But anyway, yes, that's that.
Okay.
Mr. Nikon, you want to go?
Yeah, I've been playing Kadash.
What is that?
Kadash.
Oh, okay. Want to fill us in what that is?
It's pretty much like a side-scrolling platformer, I guess. You know, borderline RPG-ish. You gotta go
Ooh.
rescue the princess, and you gotta fight all these bosses. It's kind of like Star Tropics-ish, but you're like either like a warrior, a priestess, a mage. I forget what the other
Oh,
one
neat.
is. So you fight all these bosses. Like the boss names are pretty fun. The first one is the Black Pudding.
Black pudding?
Yes, this is
I gotta be black. Just kidding.
it's just this black ball pudding-like thing that you gotta attack. So yeah, I'm trying to go through this as quickly as I can. Go for the world record in this, which is currently 51 minutes on Twin Galaxies. But I think I can break that one pretty easily. It's just been a while since I played it, so I'm getting used to the level layout and all that.
So you played this before, then? This isn't your first time at the rodeo.
No,
It sounds like. Okay.
I'm just trying to get a faster time.
All right. Well, good luck with that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else you've been playing?
That's about it.
Right on. Red Blaze 57. Well, let's go down the line. You want to go next?
Yeah, I've been playing a game called Dust and Elysian Tale. It's a little indie game that came out a few years ago, and where originally part of the Xbox Live Arcade, Summer Arcade, then went to Steam, and now it's on Xbox One, PS4. I've been playing the PS4 version. Honestly, it's pretty good. It's an action RPG with some Metroidvania style to it.
Oh. Cool.
The story's very basic and pretty predictable, but still a really fun game to just kick back and play.
So
Other than
nothing
that-
too deep or complex, just
Yeah.
good. Okay.
I mean, it starts off with a character who has amnesia.
Where have I heard that one before?
I don't know.
Everywhere.
But yeah, I've been playing that. I've gone back to Sonic Adventure for a bit, just trying to actually do a little bit of speedrunning with that, since I know a few tricks in that.
Already.
And I went back to Adventure 2 for a little because I found out that in City Escape, when you got the truck following you, you can actually homing attack at it, and where it'll actually back up, and where you can eventually get it to a point where it just gets killed off screen.
Ah. Okay. So it sounds like you've been playing a lot lately.
Yeah.
Ish. Cool. Very nice. Before we get to, well, is there anything else you wanted to comment on that? Ish? No? You good?
I'm done. What about Dash?
Well, before we get to Dash, I wanted to mention that I think it'd be neat because you mentioned speedruns and Mr. Nikon did as well. It'd be cool to somehow for us all to do a speedrun of a game we think we can, finish really quickly per episode, but I'm not sure how to set that up. I think that'd be a Dash question. So, and speaking of which, Dash, what have you been playing lately?
So, a couple of games, actually.
Right.
I've just recently been playing Super Luigi U with my son. It's a pretty fun game. Yeah, for the Wii U. It's a pretty fun game. It's very much in the speed running vein. What it is you play as Luigi and you play as
Blue
I don't
Toad,
remember
Yellow
what.
Toad, and Nabbit.
Yeah, Nabbit. That was thank you. That was the guy's name I was looking for. The little Nabbit guy that steals the items from the Toads in the regular Mario U game. But Nabbit is invincible, so it adds a real different dynamic to the game because you've got one character that basically can't die unless he falls into a pit or something, and then you've got Luigi, but every level you only have 99 seconds to beat.
That's right. I've heard of that.
So yeah, so it really it leads to some fast and frenzied gameplay. My son loves it, mainly because he plays the invincible character and does nothing but make me die repeatedly. So
He needs a good talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to play the game in single player sometime so I can actually enjoy it. But
Yeah, the trade-off with Nabbit's
so I've also been
invincibility is that you can't have any power-ups with him.
yeah, and but not being able to have power ups doesn't mean that you can't collect them, which is part of what makes me die so frequently because my son will run forward with Nabbit and collect up all the power ups before I can get them, and insult to
Your
injury, they
son's
do
one of
nothing
those
for Nabbit.
players.
So,
Ow.
and I think yeah, but right now where he gets more giving the other player a hard time than actually like playing the game for the game. So, but so we've been playing through that. I've also been playing a couple of, I guess, new oldies. When I upgraded to Windows 10, I heard a lot of people complaining that their drivers didn't work right for their NVIDIA cards. So just to make sure that all my stuff worked, I made sure I set up Steam and all that other stuff, and I downloaded all my games, and in particular, Tomb Raider looks and plays amazing. I owned it for the PC because I got it as part of like a Steam bundle, but since I had it on PS3, I'd never really played it on PC. So playing that game again, I was impressed with it on the PS3, but to play it on the PC at 1080p and like full everything set to ultra, the game is really gorgeous. I mean, I have a renewed appreciation for that. And then Crysis, the original Crysis, I actually pulled that out and played it in what's been ages. I think it's been like 2 years since I played the game. And it's just amazing to see how much better games nowadays hold up several years later than some other generations.
Yeah, Windows 10, you can play games fine, but you still have a problem with your mic.
I know, right? That's so
Or
weird. Like, the games play awesome. I can play Crysis at 1080p at maximum settings, 67 frames per second, but I can't say 5 words on my microphone on Retro Reload or I turn into a Dalek.
Exterminate!
Oh man, that's funny. Anything else you've been playing lately?
Me personally?
Yep, you.
No, I'd have to say that that's it. I mean, it's hard to really kind of like, I could go on and on. Like, I'm the kind of guy, like, I'll pick up a game, play it for a few minutes, or maybe, play it in the evening, and then I'll set it down. Or, like, I'll go to bed and maybe I can't sleep, so I'll grab the PlayStation Portable and I'll play some Castlevania, or I'll play some Chess Master or whatever. But I don't really consider, like, things that I just kind of, like, passively pick up and play as playing.
That's good. I'm glad you mentioned the PSP.
Play it a few more times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. I guess it's I'm always playing various different games, but I guess the ones that I mentioned are ones that I'd be willing to like commit to go back and continue playing until maybe I complete the game.
Yeah, like I have a hard time jumping back and forth. I usually try to focus on just 2 at a time. That way I don't like try to that way I don't spread myself too thin, if that makes sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
No, that makes total sense because I think that's what happens to me. Like I'll play a game, like I played Castlevania on the PSP, the Dracula X Chronicles, and I was really enjoying it. But I got to this part where like I don't know, I guess that like it was getting so difficult that it was kind of like it was kind of defeating because like I could spend like a half an hour on the game and not make any progress, and that was kind of really defeating. And so it's good sometimes I think to set a game like that down for a little bit, and then go play another game where I know in Tomb Raider I can burn a half an hour on it and just make progress through the game. So I think sometimes I need a little bit of success in one game to get me where I need to be to go back and tackle a tough part in another game. But if I do too many games at once, I'm with you. I just lose my focus.
Right on. Well, sounds like everyone has their hands tied with a lot of stuff as of late.
Yeah.
So, awesome. I wonder if by next week we'll all be playing the same thing or if we'll have moved on. So, Mr. Nikon, if you do end up doing that good that record. Be sure to post that. I'd love to see that.
I will.
Right on.
And I'll give you all the guys on for Twin Galaxy so you all can vote on it. That's how they do a lot of their voting on whether it's a valid record or not now.
So wait, what? So this place is called Twin Galaxy, and they'll vote whether or not it's legit.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never heard of this before.
They're the official Guinness Book of World Record holder, place for video games.
Really?
Yep.
I call myself a gamer, and I don't know these things, so.
You should watch King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters. It's about the the arcade machine Donkey Kong going for the highest score, over what, million points or something like that, and getting to the kill screen the fastest. So, and that's kind of what we're talking about today: arcades and arcade games.
It is. So that leads us to our next topic, Mr. Nikon. Do you want to elaborate a little bit?
Well, for the years, so a lot of us, our first experience of video game was playing, arcade machines and the arcade or at the 7-Eleven and all that. It's like for one time there were like early 80s or so many arcades or big thing. Then they started to go down in the 90s and 2000s. They're pretty much almost gone. Mm-hmm. And just recently they started coming back up again. So
you think it'd be fun to talk tonight? Our main topic is arcades, arcade cabinets, their reputation, their popularity, what we grew up with, that sort of thing?
Yep.
Right on.
Pretty much.
Sounds good to me. So, you mentioned you started playing at a 7-Eleven?
Yes.
Is that what I heard? So you had your slushie, and you had your bag of chips, and you were playing...
Yep, my Butterfinger and all that.
Love it. What was your first arcade, as far back as you can remember, what was your first stand-up arcade cabinet that you played?
It was Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road.
Okay. With the wheel?
Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Oh, man, that takes me back. Now, did that one have the pedal that you actually had to press with your feet?
Yes.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, what else did they have there? I forget. That's the one I remember the most, but... God, this is... I can't remember all that far back.
That memory. Dementia's a bitch when it starts to set in, so...
Yeah.
That's okay, though. Red Blaze, what about you? Do you remember... Well, you're a youngin', by comparison, at least. So, do you...
I've played arcade games. It's just so randomly in my life. First time I actually remember playing one was when I was out in Wyoming, for around kindergarten. And
okay.
I believe that game was actually Outrun.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Outrun. I've seen that.
But, yeah. Other than that, the one I actually remember playing a good amount was actually the original Tekken.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was actually Tekken at the time, but other than that, Jersey Shore. You got Skee Ball and all that, and all those types of arcade games down here.
I was just about to ask you that. So, and it's funny you mentioned Tekken, because as far back as I can remember, the very first one that I played, it was at a Holiday Inn. It was in Michigan while I was with my grandparents. It was Street Fighter II. And there was something jacked up with the with one of the buttons. So every time I insert a quarter, I would always play as E Honda, the sumo wrestler, and I can't stand him. So,
I played as the Bruce Lee ripoff. In Tekken.
Oh, in Tekken. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, in Street Fighter, there isn't one really.
Actually, the Tekken game I remember playing was out in Wildwood.
Yep. You're talking about martial law, right?
I believe that's the character's name.
Martial law. Yeah, that sounds about right.
But
cool.
Yeah, I was out in Wildwood and staying at the hotel. They had a little arcade area in there, and I mainly played the Tekken machine there.
Yep, hotels had a lot of arcades. When we were growing up, going on family vacations. If the hotel had an arcade, it got 5 stars in our book. So it was very important.
Other than that, it was the local. It was any of the malls where they had the light guns.
Okay.
You never know which one you're playing. You're just playing that one that has the live action people coming out from behind cover, and you're supposed to shoot them.
Lethal Enforcer.
One of those ones. There's so many of those types.
Area 51.
Maxim something or other.
Maximum Force.
That's it.
I think one of the Terminator games was
There's a Ghost Hunter game. The Virtua
House
Cop.
of the Dead.
House of the Dead, yeah, that's a, oh, I love House of the Dead.
Silent Scope.
That's a good one.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, that's it.
But what else?
Well, Dash V, what was the first one that you can remember playing as far back as you can tell?
Are you at a Best Buy?
First one I can remember, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Ah, okay, good one, good one.
Not the first one, but the first one I can remember. So.
I think 7-Eleven had that one too. I think. I don't remember.
7-Eleven was where it's at, yo. I thought 7-Eleven was for cheap, sweet drinks and for your filling up your gas. I guess I was wrong.
What kind of gas are you filling up there? You know, you eat some of those too many big bites, you get filled up on gas. You know.
Chili dogs.
But yeah, anyway, yeah, I know we talked about this earlier at 7-Eleven. I would always ask for quarters at the payphone to pretend to call home, and to take those quarters and play more video games. I don't know. They didn't answer. Like, okay,
Gotcha.
you know.
What about you, Zach? Like, did you have to, like, when you went to the arcade, did you have to get money from your parents, or did you have an allowance for your quarters? Like,
And, it's just been so long since I've actually done that stuff. I don't
I
even
understand
remember.
a huge demand, yeah.
I never was on the street corner asking for money. I can tell you
yeah,
that.
that's too funny.
But I was just at the phones asking for money, you know.
I love that. That is genius, as far as I can tell.
Doing my 8-year-old con game, you know.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to get your game on.
I think the statute of limitations is gone now, so I should be okay talking about this.
Yeah, yeah. Is that 7-Eleven still there?
It's still there. No more video
Right
games
on.
there.
Frown. Oh, well.
They store the extra 2 liters of pop there. I go
Good.
there and I look sad. Like, this is where I used to play video games.
Memories.
Little misty water memories.
Love it. When we were growing up, this is the one that I'm thinking of. Like, we got our quarters. They were the money we got from our parents is supposed to be used as snack money. Like, during summer vacation, we would go to this pool club called the Blue Marlin, and we each get $1 or so. That would buy a piece of pizza or something like that. As for me, I turned my $1 into quarters, and I would play The Simpsons or Lethal Enforcer, like we just mentioned, and they also had Street Fighter 2 there as well at that pool club. So that's basically how I fueled my habit. I was supposed to be fueling my stomach, but instead I was fueling my gaming habit.
Your eye-hand coordination.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. My parents would be like, "Why are you so hungry? You had a snack at the pool." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just hungry."
I ran a mile.
Yeah, I swam a mile. So, what are some of everyone's favorite arcade games off the top of their head?
I like Eyes. That's a fun one by Rockoa.
I've not heard of that one.
It's pretty rare. They have it at Galloping Ghost.
Of course
that's
they
when I
do.
first started playing it. It's a Pac-Man clone, so it's pretty fun. You're this eye, and you go around shooting other eyes and collecting little, like that little power pellets, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a pretty fun game.
Cool. Red Blaze, you have a favorite off the top of your head?
Crazy Taxi. Because Dreamcast.
You know, I did not know that was in the arcades. I just learned something just now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think there's two
I don't know what the
versions of
sequel
it.
was, though.
Yeah, I think there's 2 versions of a Crazy Taxi arcade cabinet.
Alright, in the second one you can jump, I know that. That's the main difference between the two.
Yeah, it's. I hear that one Offspring song that they have in there.
Oh, All I Want.
Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Oh man, that takes me back.
You know, you that song comes on, you're stepping on the gas if you're in your car. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are. It's
Right
just
on.
a reflex.
I think he's unable to talk right now.
He's in Best Buy right now.
Okay. My favorite one, like off the top of my head, when someone mentions arcade games, I immediately go to X-Men, the arcade game. I just can't get enough of that. That is so much fun, and especially when they have the version that it has all the characters. So like the arcade cabinet is shaped like the half of like an of a hexagon or some big polygon.
Yeah.
So you're all crowded around each other. I was always Nightcrawler because Nightcrawler's my homeboy. And everyone else had to fend for themselves, whoever they were. And, oh, yeah, we lost so many quarters on that game, because that game was hard, like, annoyingly hard. Using your mutant power, which they are supposed to do anyway, causes them to lose energy. So, yeah, it was annoying, but so much fun.
But, yeah,
So.
what else? Oh, I like Galaga's a fun one I like, and Tron.
Classic, yeah.
And Robotron, 2024?
Have not played that one.
That's, that's a little bit more difficult. You got the 2 controllers, just the 2 joysticks, but you gotta move. One moves you forward, backwards, and the other one points where you're shooting. Because you're pretty much constantly shooting just about in that game. Kind of difficult.
Yeah, I was just about to ask. That sounds really hard.
Yeah.
So, Dash V, if you're able to chat now, you're not muted. Do you have a favorite one off the top of your head?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I have a couple favorites.
Right on.
I would have to say Area 51 was definitely
classic, yeah.
Okay.
really, really good quarter waster for a shooting game. For a platformer game, the Simpsons arcade game, I actually loved. I could beat that game on $2.25 every single time.
Who's your favorite character to use?
Oh, jeepers. It would have to be Marge, because there's just something awesome about going through an entire game beating the hell out of people with a vacuum cleaner.
Yep, Marge is my character too. I always went to Marge.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. And then my favorite pinballs. I don't know if we're counting pinball games.
Oh, yeah.
We can, sure,
But
why not?
my favorite pinball game of all time is Attack from Mars.
Didn't know they had one for that. Huh.
It's not based on the movie.
Oh. Yeah, I mean,
It
so
is-
it's not like Mars
it is-
Attacks?
No, it's not like Mars Attacks, but it is.
Gotcha.
It is very B-movie-ish, though. They purposely made the arcade game in a very B-movie kind of way, so it's great for all the same reasons that a bad B-movie about Martians is great.
One of those so bad it's good type of situations.
Mm-hmm.
From the corniness of the content perspective, yeah, because like they'll do stuff like you'll light up enough stuff on the board, and the aliens have like this like tractor beam where they can like pull up stuff, and you'll hear stuff like you'll hit all the stuff, you'll finally light it up, and then you'll just hear this guy go, "No, not our hot dogs!" And you'll see like on the display, you'll see like this hot dog stand get like beamed up into the spaceship. Because it was one of those ones where it had like one of those dot matrix video displays as well.
Yeah.
So it was just very, very well done.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Nightkine, I know that you have the galloping ghost around you, and this leads me to my next question. Does everyone think that arcades are starting to kind of resurface If not in where you are necessarily, but just like in general, or I mean.
I guess a little bit. You do see some places that are playing up on the nostalgia of it, and then you got places like Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's, yeah.
Yeah. And there's all these other smaller barcades popping up. There's headquarters here, and there's Replay, which is opening up down the street from me.
Sweet.
Yeah, and Replay is a gay arcade bar.
I'm surprised they didn't name it Joystick.
So wait a minute. Like, are they strict on that? Does that mean that like straight guy can't go in and play some Missile Command?
Well, anyone could go in there, but it's, more of the leaning more one way. So don't go there trying to pick up chicks.
Unless you're a lesbian.
Well, actually, I do know a lot of chicks that would hang out at gay bars because they wouldn't get hit on.
Yeah.
So you might, if you go in there as a straight guy, you might be the only one contending for her. It might work out, is what I'm saying. It might work out.
Well, Mr. Nygon has Jenny, so he would never do such a thing.
No. Doc would be so sad.
Yeah, look at that face. Look how he's resting on the pig pillow. I love it.
Now, let me ask you this, though, Mr. Nikon, right? These new places that are popping up, right? Is it like true arcade? Because what I see a lot out here in the Bay Area is I see, arcade, stuff like a golf land, right? They'll have golf, laser tag, and a quote arcade. Or you go to the mall and they'll have like a quote arcade. But
hey, Dash, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's all these stupid chance machines. Basically.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, well, they've got arcade games like the headquarters. They've got probably about 15, 20 pinball machines in there, and most of them are set for free play. And they've got a few arcade cabinets. Just classic ones. Pretty common ones like that. You got.
Well, Galloping Ghost, yeah, but I guess I mean some of these other places like the bar and stuff that have the arcade.
Yeah, bar. They've got like the bar I'm talking about. They've got like pinball and some a few arcade cabinets. Just your basic, nothing too special.
Mm-hmm.
They've got everything you could find pretty much almost anywhere.
This is the Galloping Ghost, you said?
This is headquarters.
Okay.
Headquarters beercade.
Yeah, I like that term you used, barcade, because I was in Cleveland not too long ago, and there was one in Cleveland called 16-bit. Everything's set to free play, except for the pinball machines, and all you paid for was your booze. And I think that idea is wonderful. I mean, you could just go in, play what you want, have a drink or two, and relive old childhood memories. I love the idea of free play, but you still pay for something else, in this case.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
But I like the way Galloping Ghost does it. Get in there, $15 to get in the door, and place is yours till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Now, do they have refreshments there and like food or anything?
They've got a few little drinks and all that, but if you got your receipt, you can go in and out all day long.
That's a great idea.
There's a Chinese place right next door, so that's where we're always going for food.
Yeah,
that works out pretty well actually, because like you could play some Simpsons, right? Leave, get some food, come back, play another game, beat it, and then you have to go back and eat again because it's an hour later and you're hungry.
Yeah. It's like
exactly.
And you know what? I'll go there, and sometimes after being there like 2-3 hours, I'm just like, what game do I want to play next? What game do I want to play next?
I know, it's like hard to decide. Like when you walk into one of those things, and even at Dave and Buster's where you have to pay for it, it's like it's like sensory overload, because arcades, as far as like it's in my opinion, are still kind of like they're still pretty scarce. So any chance to get into one is great to me.
Yeah, and they have over 400 machines there, so it's like
Oh, that's awesome. I want to go to there.
I think they're almost at 500 actually, but
How
Are you gonna
how
look it
many
up
of
now?
those machines are usually in out of order? Because that's the other thing I see a lot at arcades. Is I'll see like, oh, they have Terminator Salvation out of order.
not too many. Usually there's maybe I think the most I've seen was like 4 or something like that. So they do a lot of stuff, their own repairs there and stuff. So
Oh man, I don't think Chicago's that far from Nashville. I may be making a road trip just for, well, for you, of course, Mission Icon, but for Galloping Ghost as well.
don't forget
So basically,
Doc.
you're saying we should all make a
And
trip
Doc.
out to Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like Chicago has the good stuff. Where I live in Nashville, there's something similar called Two Bits. It's all right. They have a lot of retro consoles, and you have to hook them up, and there's TVs and whatnot. It's okay. The one in Cleveland I went to is better. So,
Yeah, I got 2 different places near me actually. One of them called I Play America, and where that's
Mhm.
one of those places that's also got like laser tag and all that stuff, and they seem to run off of a credit system. At least
Yeah.
that, from what I can tell from the site. I have yet to go there. The other one, which is the one that I really want to go to, is called Yestercades. There are 2 locations, and one's in Red Bank. If you watch Comic Book Men, like one of the places near there, the Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. But it's one that's set up for free to play. You pay either hourly or you just pay 25 for the whole day. And they just got like a whole bunch of different machines and a little area that has like the newer systems set up.
Okay, cool. I figured though, because you're right by the Jersey Shore, aren't you?
Yeah.
Red?
Close
Yeah, so
enough.
you kind of have the pick of the litter in some regards.
Actually, the only arcade that I've been in a while is the Yestercades out in Somerville when they were still putting that one up. So I got to see like all the machines open.
Mm.
Not being able to play, but it was really neat just seeing those open. And I actually got to talk to the guy who was running that one.
Oh, get the inside scoop and get a VIP pass and
Yeah,
unlimited play.
we were right there on Division Street. Me and my uncle were just going around because why not? There was some other people in front of the place looking in, and where the guy was like, "Yeah, just come in and look around." It's like, okay,
Sweet, that's wonderful.
yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
So whenever we all kind of, at least I think we do, I know I do, we all kind of travel somewhat a lot, go on little vacations or little road trips. I love to see if they have arcades wherever we end up. Not necessarily in the hotel or something like that. If there's something around there though, that's a huge selling point. Like I was in Key West a while ago, and no arcades anywhere. I was so disappointed. I had a great time, don't get me wrong, it's not a deal breaker, but I think a good way to, make a good vacation is to have an arcade at your wherever you're staying.
Yeah.
Where's
I mean,
everyone?
I
is
went
everyone-
down.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I went down to the Outer Banks this year. I did not find any sort of arcade or even any sort of game store down there. I found one game, and that was Crazy Taxi for the PS2. So I probably found the only one in that whole area.
You just talked about Crazy Taxi. Nowhere in the Outer Banks? Now that surprises me. That's like a kind of like a hip vacation spot, so I figured they'd have something. I find that odd.
You're not really down to the beach there for arcades and stuff. You're more there for
I
the
am.
actual beach itself.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Dash, have you gone anywhere lately that had an arcade and kind of surprised you?
No, I haven't gone like to a location that had them. Like I said, like out here, I don't really see them. The ones that I see are really more like let's convince kids to gamble type things.
Yeah.
But I do have the benefit of once a year. There's a group out here called Rockage, and basically it's a whole bunch of bands that are inspired by retro and indie games. It's a whole bunch of people from the full-blown industry as well as people from the indie industry getting together. So there'll be everything from consoles to arcade games to pinball games, all of it out in the open, all of it on free play. You pay like I think it's I don't remember. It's like $25, and you get 3 days of nonstop gaming goodness with about I think 10 to 12 different bands that just play all day long. Uh, they're both their own music and they'll play covers of, you'll hear DuckTales played in various different ways. You'll hear a rock version, you'll hear a power ballad, you'll hear a death metal version of DuckTales, like just the whole weekend. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, that's how I usually get my Donkey Kong and my Attack from Mars pinball fix, because those almost always make an appearance at Rockage, and so I'll just be listening to really kick-ass music being performed live while I'm playing Attack from Mars. It's great.
Nice.
Sweet. That's awesome. So where does everyone see the arcade going in the future? Do they think it's going to become super popular again, or do you think this is right now it's just somewhat of a fad, it's going to fade away? What are everyone's thoughts on that?
I think you might see a few more stores pop up, but not too much more, I think.
I don't think it's be like it was in like the early '80s when it was like insane.
The Wizard.
Yeah.
And let's face it, most people nowadays just get their kick from playing online.
Yeah. But it's something like standing at the cabin and just playing,
Yeah, there's something just there's a good classic feeling to it. I mean, first off, it's kind of fun to do what you love while standing up and, not being a couch potato. So there's that.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of like a social thing as well. I mean, you just chat with people and say, "Hey, good job. Hey, good match. Hey, you messed me up. Whatever." Depending on the game you're playing.
When you get a crowd standing around you watching.
Oh yeah, and then I'm no stranger to that. When I've played Dance Dance Revolution, I have no shame in my game, so I got some crowds. So.
I was watching these guys were playing a few times ago. I was at Galvin Goes. These guys are playing Robotron 2084, and they're like going so hardcore at the game. They were sweating. They were going so intensely at it.
That does I know what you're talking about with that too.
They had a pretty damn high score.
Or when there's like a fighting game going on, and that will definitely draw a crowd. If they're both really good, like Evo level good.
Play some Primal Rage.
Oh God, Primal Rage. Oh jeez.
No.
Not that it's a bad game. I'm just awful. I just did not figure out how to do stuff in that. Down to forward, punch didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, and also
I'll stick with Soul Calibur.
At the Ghost, they also got Primal Rage 2, which I guess is a pretty rare game. I think it's the only board in existence that they know of.
I didn't know they had a Primal Rage 2. That shows you how rare it is.
Apparently, it's like one of the prototype boards for it. It never got released.
Yeah, they were working on that as they learned that Primal Rage 1 sucked.
Yeah.
Canceled it.
It wasn't bad. I couldn't figure out how to do stuff. Like, how do you do stuff in that game?
The problem was the arcade game was pretty decent, but all the console ports were awful.
Yeah. I've never tried the arcade that much. I was never that good in fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but I've
My
never
favorite fighting gear series is Guilty Gear. I've never seen a Guilty Gear arcade
Yeah,
cabinet.
I don't think that one ever got an arcade cabinet.
It did. I know there's some. I've never seen them. Besides in Japan, I know there's some here in the States as well.
They've got it. They've got it at the at Galloping Ghost.
Yeah. Rub it in, why don't you?
Guilty
I can
Gear
t-
X-Head 8 Ancient Core.
Accent Core?
Accent Core, yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Oh, now I want to go to there even more. Zach, do you have a fighting game of choice that you like to get your arcade on?
I mean, I'll play with the arcade stick on my systems, but Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur's great. That's a good one.
That's a good game. That's a good one.
Dash
Especially
V,
two.
do you have a fighting game that you prefer in the arcades?
Yeah, the original Mortal Kombat.
Oh, so fun. So classic.
That one's pretty good. I'm starting to hopefully one day I'll finish this, but I started this in New York.
Oh, what you got?
To California, but I'm not quite done with it yet. So I've got a I don't know if you can see. It's a Street Fighter. Can I get it there? It's a Street Fighter configuration with the 6 buttons. It's two-player setup. I got the coin door and all that other stuff. One of these days I'll finish it. I got to get a marquee and a screen for it, but the problem with the screen is it's got to be a CRT because I want to be able to play. Area 51.
So you can build a MAME cabinet.
Yeah.
Man garage.
What's really cool is the chip that I have in there for the controls actually is it's a serial port that I can hook USB. I can hook Xbox, original Xbox. I can hook PlayStation and PlayStation 2 into it. So yeah, I can plug the PlayStation 2 into it, pop in my actual Area 51 and Maximum Force discs for the PlayStation and play them. But I could also put in my soft-modded Xbox and play all the MAME games on it as well if I wanted to.
Okay, cool.
Right on. Cool. Well, keep us posted on that. I want to see the finished product, like real bad.
Yeah, so do I.
You've got 2 months to finish it.
It's taken me to get that far with it.
I want a full report on my desk by Monday morning.
You know, that's what you guys got to do. I need somebody to keep me on it. Otherwise, I'll just let it sit.
I could just keep playing like Survivor Eye of the Tiger for you to keep you pumped.
Okay, all cast members of RR, I want you to text -V every day. Did you finish it yet? Is it done yet? How's it going? Get that, to be that squeaky wheel that will remind him of what he has to finish. But that is going to look badass. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Which also brings me to another thing,
It's
like
actually,
cost. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I didn't build it from scratch. I only built the control panel from scratch. The cabinet itself is actually a repainted Bad Dudes cabinet that was.
Oh, Bad Dudes. Oh, I play that all the time at Pizza Hut. Oh my God, the Pizza Hut we had growing up had Bad Dudes right front and center. Oh man, memories of that.
But you're saying going for the cost of things?
You what? Yeah, I was gonna ask, how much do those things cost anyway? Like, I would love to have an X-Men one or a Dance Dance Revolution one, but
it depends on the game.
It totally depends on the game. But what's really cool is the thing to look for is the company's called X Arcade. They used to just sell parts, right? They started out just selling pre-made arcade boards that you could get. Like, you could get like a whole tabletop arcade setup that you just like sat down on your dining room table and you could play 2- and 4-player games with real arcade controls on real sturdy arcadey material. And then they started selling their own kits so you could build your own. And just recently, like within the last couple of years now, they sell full-blown, already assembled with fully licensed, basically MAME cabinets now. So you can get fully functional arcade cabinets that come with like 300 or 400 games preloaded that are all totally legit. They actually worked out the licensing with the companies and stuff, so you can play, Simpsons and Ninja Turtles and Galaga and all that stuff. And it's like, I think it's like $2,000, which if you think about it, like
That's not bad when you think about in the grand scheme of things.
yeah, when you think about all the games that you're getting, the fact that it's already assembled, the quality of the materials and stuff, to build a cabinet yourself from scratch is going to cost you about $500. So
Yeah.
more when you look at like if you get like
Yeah.
a quality monitor and things like that. So to get something for $2,000 that has all those games totally legit, that's actually a pretty good deal.
That's kind of one of my goals. Is just to build one from scratch. Actually.
Oh, cool. Well, good luck with that.
So
And I'm
a
looking
friend
at-
of mine used to.
Well, I mean, I could actually use a Raspberry Pi machine to actually do the whole main part.
Use a who and a what now?
Raspberry Pi motherboard. It's basically a little $40 motherboard that you could
Oh, okay.
put your software on, and where it'll apparently work.
I was
One
like,
of the-
raspberries. That sounds tasty. I'm like, okay.
Delicious. This arcade machine is delicious. So
Well, my friends, we have about 7 minutes left, but we just started a little bit later.
Only one person would give me the Raspberry.
Lone Star.
What else is there to say about this fun topic of ours? I mean, we can go on for hours reminiscing, but
I'm looking on eBay at arcade cabinets now.
They're pretty affordable. I was
they're on
surprised.
eBay now. Oh, Lord.
I was looking.
As long as they're within range.
Yeah, I was looking. Unfortunately, like it didn't align with like every now and then, depending because work gets kind of crazy, ridiculous, and then I'll get like a bonus or something like that. But I was looking forward to getting a particular bonus. I think it was last year, and so I went to eBay and I was looking for like an Area 51 like arcade cabinet, like the real deal. And somebody was selling a working arcade cabinet for like $400. Problem was, like a month later when I got my bonus, the arcade cabinet had already sold. So sometimes you'll be surprised, like you can actually get, don't be surprised if, especially with some of the Nintendo games that have kind of gotten crazy expensive. Sometimes you can actually get a full up working arcade cabinet cheaper than you can get like an NES game. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little Samson arcade cabinet.
Right. So Ninja Turtles, those ones are pretty affordable. It's weird because this is what I've personally seen out here in the Bay Area. I don't know if this holds true, all across the country, but it looks like arcade cabinets, unless you're talking like a mint condition cabinet or something, are kind of going the reverse direction, right? Over time, they're not getting more valuable; they're getting less valuable because the arcade. A lot of these have been in bars. They've been beat up. They've had stuff spilled on them and all that other stuff. So a lot of times you can get a fully working but definitely beat up arcade cabinet that you're going to have to do some restoration work to it. But it's not, it's not like an NES game where the price just keeps climbing. These ones, the prices generally tend to go down because the wear on the machines just builds up with the age. But if you get one that hasn't worn too bad, you might be able to pick up a decent cabinet for like $300, put a couple $100 into it, and then have a piece of history.
Of course, when you have that, though, you have to worry about spacing and
Yeah.
where you're gonna how you're gonna ship it, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it's definitely not an overnight decision. You had to put some thought into this, but it will be cool to have. It would definitely make a great conversation piece for sure.
Yeah.
If
Like, oh, you have an arcade cabinet? You have Pac-Man? That's awesome,
Yeah. If you do get a cabinet, if it's a JAMA harness, you pretty much say you can put almost any board in there.
With the what now? With the who?
A JAMA.
JAMA?
This is Japanese. Something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. What I have in mind is the iPack.
Okay.
But it's,
All these
it's a
terms being
similar-
thrown
it's a
everywhere.
similar thing. Lets you hook up different boards, lets you hook up different systems and that kind of stuff. So a friend of mine that I used to work with way back east, he had a 2-story house and a finished basement, and every single floor was packed with arcade machines and pinball rooms.
Nice.
So, yeah, he was single until he was like 30, and he just used all his money. What he would do is he'd buy like 3 or 4 of the same game broken on eBay for like dirt, and then he'd drive out and pick them up. And what he'd do is he'd get like 4 broken Space Invaders games and get like 2 working machines out of it, sell 1 for full price, keep 1 for parts, and then he'd have 1 that he could play. So in his garage was all of his parts machines, but he had Tron, he had Area 51, he had like all kinds of pinball games. He had all the Mortal Kombat games. He had Verse Super Mario Brothers, all the Double Dragons. I mean, it was just nuts.
Double Dragon, that's what I forgot about too. Oh, and Gauntlet Legends, that's what I used to play as well.
And
I don't know if
Tron.
he had Gauntlet Legends, but
Tron
which
is not a cheap game.
Tron's not a cheap game?
no. In fact, he
Cheap movie.
I think he actually rented a flatbed for Tron because he actually had like the sit-down version of Tron in one piece.
Oh wow.
A lot of
That's
times
even-
when you, yeah,
That
a lot of times
is
when you order
crazy.
these, they'll like in some cases when you order the Tron one, some of these are so huge, like they'll actually cut them up to fit them in,
On a crate or something.
on crates or something. Yeah, they'll crate them. And so he ordered one. I think it was in Florida, and we were in New York. And the guy's like, "I'll crate it," and he goes, "You most certainly will not crate it. I will be down there tomorrow." And he took the week
Now
off of
that's
work.
dedication.
Yeah, he took the week off of work, drove down to Florida, rented a flatbed. He took a rental car down to Florida, then got a flatbed, and drove it all the way back up to New York to get it intact.
Nice.
Dedication right there. Did
Dedicated.
you hear that, America? We will go to extreme lengths for our video games. So,
Yeah. You
Which
know,
is why Casho and I we have our GoFundMe's for our gaming needs.
well, yes, we do have our GoFundMe's.
I'm
Speaking of which, how are you, where are you at right now, Mr. Nikon?
I am at $20.
Well, you're still winning. I'm only at 10.
Maybe I should see
Although
if
I
my
did
friend
learn
will
that-
give us a tour of his house.
What's up?
You what now?
I should see
Yeah.
if my friend will give us a tour of his house on the upcoming show.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
But
Well, got about a minute left in our hour-long segment. Any closing thoughts from anyone? Zach, it looks like you got something.
just a quick question. Have any of you heard of any actual new arcade games, whether it be exclusive to a different country? I know actually in Japan, arcades are even huger.
Oh,
Are
yeah.
really huge. I know that I personally would like to actually play the Pokken tournament that's coming out, which is basically an actual fighting game with Pokemon.
Oh, and there's the Dissidia, the Final Fantasy fighting game. That's going to be an arcade in Japan too.
Oh yeah.
That looks awesome. But yeah, that's all I can think of.
Stern Pinball just released a new Metallica machine.
Like based on the band.
Yeah, a
You know,
Metallica.
I was actually looking at that place I mentioned earlier, Yestercades, and where apparently in Somerville they have the Metallica machine.
And that just got released. And Stern also they did a Walking Dead machine.
Stern's got a lot of machines.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the only ones nowadays.
Yeah,
I
they're the only real pinball machine manufacturer left from the old school days.
I mean,
What's
look
really
at
neat, though, what's really
Okay.
neat is Stern. I know we're short on time, so I'll be really quick. But I actually went to an event.
Finish
Here,
chewing
Paul.
first. Swallow.
Yep, I went to an event here called the California Extreme, which is basically like hundreds and hundreds of pinball games on free play for like 3 days. They just book like an entire hotel, like all the conference rooms, and they open them wide up and pack them full of arcade games and pinball games. But Stern was there as one of the speakers there, and one of the things that they were talking about is they were talking about how nowadays they can actually use 3D printers to mock up board layouts to play test kind of in like rapid fashion, because before it took a lot to machine the parts and to machine the board and everything.
Yeah.
So you pretty much had to lay everything out and then hope for the best, which sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. But now they're talking about how they can really hone the arcade board or the pinball
Playfield.
machine layout, because they can play around with where stuff's positioned. They can play around with where a bumper is or whatever. And if they don't like the layout, all they do is 3D print a couple more parts, put them in different spots on the prototype board, and try again. So it's kind of neat to see how. I hope that there's a resurgence in things like pinball games and arcade games, because the technology is so much better than it used to be. Our arcade games used to be the definitive experience. They were giving you something you could not experience at home because your home consoles just weren't that good.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was, now that we've got 1080p and we've got PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, it's really hard for these things to compete. But I don't think it's impossible. I think it's still possible. And maybe with stuff like Oculus Rift and things like that, I'd love to see these things find a home in the new school arcades.
Yeah.
Well, I know I, for one, will be checking out Galloping Ghost at some point in the future.
Yes.
So be ready for that, Chicago.
It'll be a fun night when you come here.
I know, it's gonna be bananas. So, anyone else have some closing thoughts? No?
Just I just say check out Galloping Ghost.
Yeah, and let's try to post a little list of arcades that are in our area or something like that, and we can maybe post on our page somehow, just for people's information. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yes.
We'll send that to Fighter Pilot, because he's our PR person.
And I don't see him listening right now.
How dare he?
So what? We only have our one Canadian viewer.
Says 0.
Oh shit!
Oh well.
And there goes Red Voice with the foul words tonight.
Oh come on! That was it when you guys were actually cursing earlier.
Oh, that wasn't on air.
Yeah, we weren't live like the band.
Anyway, thank you all for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Tune in every week. Follow us on our social media.
Facebook, Twitter, Timbergram.
Timberglam. Ashby Madison, Farmers Only.
Christian Mingle. Plenty of Fish. eHarmony.
eHarmony. Tinder.
MySpace. AIM.
AIM. Oh my God, AIM. Oh Lord.
Our soon-to-be dial-up message board system.
Yeah, add us to your ICQ.
ICQ. Remember, if you see us on Tinder, swipe right.
Right.
and don't forget, we're
also
on Grindr also.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, can't go a show without mentioning Grindr.
AOL keyword retro.
And of course, check out VG Collect. That's where we all came from and met up. So.
Yes. Thank you all for watching. Have a good rest of your weekend, and see you on Tuesdays and Thursday nights.
Right on.
Good night.
Bye.
Peace.